If you're a woman over 60, there's a sensitive yet important topic we need to talk about today. It's something many of us rarely discuss openly: self-pleasure. You might think it's harmless, even beneficial, but there are certain times of the day when it could actually pose a serious risk to your health. Today, we're diving into 7 critical moments when self-pleasure can be dangerous. Stay with me to learn what to watch out for and how to keep yourself safe. Hi, I'm Dr. Gunter, a gynecologist with over 20 years of experience in women's health, especially when it comes to caring for women over 60. Today, I want to share some important information to help you maintain safety while engaging in self-pleasure without compromising your health. Self-pleasure is a natural part of many women's lives, but as we age, our bodies change, and those changes can affect how our bodies respond to this activity. Imagine waking up in the early morning and you feel like you could use a little relaxation. But what you might not realize is that self-pleasure isn't always as safe as you think, especially when your body isn't as flexible or responsive as it used to be. Today, we're going to dive into 7 specific times when self-pleasure could actually be risky for women over 60. These are moments when your body may be more vulnerable than you realize, and knowing what to look out for can make all the difference in protecting your health. So let's take a look at these key moments so you can continue to enjoy intimacy safely and confidently. The first time you need to be cautious is between 4:00 a.m. and 6:00 a.m. This is the time when your body is going through what we call the morning surge. During this period, your heart rate and blood pressure naturally rise as your body transitions from sleep to wakefulness. It's your body's way of getting ready for the day ahead, but it also means that your cardiovascular system is a bit more vulnerable during this window. Now, when you add the physical stimulation from self-pleasure into the mix, this can create a dangerous combination: the surge in blood pressure and heart rate from your body waking up, combined with the increase in heart rate and the release of hormones like adrenaline and dopamine from sexual arousal, can put a strain on your cardiovascular system. For women over 60, this can be particularly concerning. As we age, our blood vessels become less elastic, and our hearts may not be able to handle the sudden spike in pressure as well as they once did. Research has shown that most heart attacks occur in the early morning hours, right around the time of that morning surge. The risk of experiencing a heart attack or even cardiac arrest can increase when your heart is already under stress, and then you add physical exertion like sexual activity on top of that. It's like starting your car on a cold winter morning and immediately slamming on the accelerator. You're putting your body into overdrive before it's ready. You may not even feel the strain at first, but it's happening inside your body. For older women whose hearts and blood vessels might already be under pressure, this can lead to problems like arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, chest pain, or even sudden cardiac events. It's crucial to listen to your body. And if you've ever felt any kind of unusual discomfort or irregular heartbeat in the morning, that's your body's way of telling you it might not be the best time for certain activities. So what can you do to stay safe? First, consider waiting until later in the morning after your body has had a chance to stabilize. By mid-morning, your blood pressure and heart rate have usually leveled out, and your body is in a much better place to handle physical exertion safely. Give your heart time to wake up with you, rather than pushing it into action too soon. Remember, it's not about avoiding intimacy or pleasure, but about choosing the right time to engage in these activities so that your body can handle them without unnecessary risk. You wouldn't run a marathon right after waking up, and the same logic applies here. Taking a little extra time in the morning to let your body adjust could be the difference between a safe, enjoyable experience and something much more dangerous. Next, let's talk about the timing of medications, specifically blood pressure medications. If you take medications for high blood pressure, it's important to be aware of how these meds work in your body. Most blood pressure medications reach their peak effect about 1 to 2 hours after you take them. This means that during this time, your blood pressure is significantly lower than usual, which is exactly what these medications are designed to do. But here's where things get tricky. When your blood pressure is too low, your body isn't in the best position to handle physical activity, especially activities that increase your heart rate like self-pleasure. The combination of low blood pressure from the medication and the physical exertion of arousal can create a situation where your blood pressure drops even further, and that can lead to a condition called orthostatic hypotension, essentially a sudden drop in blood pressure that happens when you stand up or change position too quickly. This can cause dizziness, lightheadedness, and even fainting. Imagine standing up too quickly from a sitting position and feeling dizzy. Now imagine that happening while you're in the middle of an activity that already requires increased heart rate and blood flow. Not only is that uncomfortable, but it can also lead to falls and injury, particularly if you're alone or in a situation where you can't get help immediately. So what should you do? The simple solution here is to give your body time to adjust after you take your blood pressure medication. If you take your medication in the morning, make sure you wait at least 2 hours before engaging in any activity that could raise your heart rate. This allows the medication to work its way through your system, and your blood pressure will likely stabilize. It's not about avoiding intimacy or pleasure, it's about timing. By spacing out when you take your medication and when you engage in activities that require physical exertion, you're reducing the risk of experiencing these sudden drops in blood pressure. It's a small change in your routine, but it can make a big difference in staying safe. If you're not sure how your medication might affect you, or if you've noticed that you feel unusually lightheaded or weak after taking it, talk to your doctor. They can help you understand the best way to manage your medications and avoid any unsafe situations. And always remember, you deserve to enjoy intimacy and feel good, but safety should come first. Now let's move on to something a lot of us enjoy: a hot shower or bath. It's a great way to relax, soothe sore muscles, and calm your mind. But did you know that right after you step out of that warm water, your body is in a particularly vulnerable state? When you take a hot shower or bath, the heat causes your blood vessels to expand, or what we call vasodilation. This is your body's way of cooling down, but it comes with some risks. The dilation of your blood vessels means that your blood pressure drops. While this may feel good in the moment, it's not the best state for engaging in physical activity, especially something that raises your heart rate like self-pleasure. If you try to engage in sexual activity immediately after a hot bath or shower, the drop in blood pressure combined with the increase in heart rate and physical exertion can make you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or even cause heart palpitations or arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats. These sudden shifts in blood pressure and heart rate can be particularly dangerous for older women whose cardiovascular systems may not be as responsive as they once were. If you've ever felt lightheaded or faint after stepping out of a hot shower, you've experienced what's called temperature shock. It's your body's response to the stress of having to regulate its internal temperature while managing blood flow and pressure. If you add the physical exertion of sexual activity into the mix, it can overwhelm your system and put unnecessary strain on your heart and blood vessels. So what can you do to protect yourself? First and foremost, give your body time to cool down and return to a more balanced state before engaging in any physically demanding activity. I recommend waiting at least 30 to 45 minutes after a hot shower or bath before trying to engage in self-pleasure or any activity that could raise your heart rate. This gives your blood pressure time to stabilize, your blood vessels time to return to normal, and it reduces the risk of dizziness or heart complications. But it's not just about waiting. It's also important to think about your environment. Bathrooms can be slippery, especially when your balance is compromised by temperature changes. Consider putting non-slip mats in your bathroom and using handrails if necessary. Make sure you have stable footing before attempting any physical activity. The risk of falling is higher right after a hot shower. And you don't want to hurt yourself or make things worse by being in a vulnerable state. In addition, if you've been soaking in a bath for a long time, the effects on your circulation can be even more pronounced. Prolonged exposure to hot water can make your blood pressure drop even further, and when you combine that with physical exertion, the chances of feeling faint or dizzy increase. To be on the safe side, avoid any intense physical activity immediately after a bath. Again, this is all about timing and listening to your body. Enjoy your hot bath or shower as a form of relaxation, but be mindful of your physical state afterward. If you're feeling dizzy, lightheaded, or unsteady, take a step back and wait until your body feels more stable before continuing. Your health is the priority, and by allowing yourself time to recover and cool down, you're giving yourself the best chance for a safe and enjoyable experience. And don't forget, there's another critical time of day when self-pleasure could be risky. between 11:00 p.m. and 2:00 a.m. During these hours, your body and mind are naturally winding down and your cognitive abilities aren't as sharp as they are earlier in the day. You might be feeling more relaxed, but that also means your coordination, reaction time, and balance are compromised. At night, especially during this window, your body's circadian rhythm is at its lowest point. Your brain starts to slow down and mental clarity tends to dip. This is why many older adults report feeling a bit off or disoriented late at night. And while you might be feeling comfortable and private, ready for some relaxation, your physical and mental states are not at their peak for performing activities that require balance and coordination. The risk here is simple. When your coordination is compromised, your balance can be thrown off. After any form of climax or physical exertion, your body goes through a period of relaxation where your blood pressure dips and your muscles become less tense. This is completely normal, but it's also when your body is at its most vulnerable, especially if you try to stand or move quickly. Think about how you feel late at night, maybe a little more emotionally sensitive, a little more vulnerable. After self-pleasure, your body may feel relaxed and your mind might be clouded with tiredness. In this state, it's not uncommon for people to lose their balance when getting up to walk to the bathroom or even when simply repositioning in bed. This is a time when falls and injuries are more likely to happen. This is also the time when feelings of loneliness or sadness can be heightened, especially if you're going through emotional stress or dealing with grief. You might turn to self-pleasure as a way to cope or escape those feelings. But it's important to recognize that while it might offer temporary relief, it doesn't address the deeper emotional needs you might be feeling. So what should you do to stay safe during these hours? First, consider adjusting the timing of your activities. If possible, engage in self-pleasure earlier in the evening when your mind is clearer, your energy levels are higher, and your balance is steadier. This doesn't mean avoiding intimacy, but it's about choosing a time when your body and mind are more stable and capable of handling physical exertion. Additionally, if you do choose to engage in any physical activity late at night, be extra cautious. You might want to stay seated or reclined to avoid losing your balance. Make sure your environment is safe. The lighting should be soft but not too dim, and any potential hazards like rugs or slippery floors should be cleared. If you have trouble with balance, you may want to consider staying in a position that's comfortable and safe for you, rather than attempting to move around too quickly. By being mindful of your physical state at night and acknowledging the emotional factors that might influence your decisions, you can ensure that your experiences remain safe and satisfying. It's all about listening to your body and recognizing when it's the right time for intimacy, as well as when it's better to wait for your body and mind to be in a better place. Now let's talk about something that may seem simple but is so important: hydration. We've all heard that drinking water is essential for our health, but did you know that dehydration can have serious effects on your body, especially when it comes to self-pleasure? When your body is dehydrated, it impacts your blood flow, and more specifically, it reduces blood flow to your brain. This can make you feel lightheaded, dizzy, or even lead to fainting. Dehydration also increases the risk of more severe complications like strokes, especially for older adults whose bodies may not regulate hydration as efficiently as they used to. Let me share a story to help illustrate the point. Meet Dung, a 64-year-old woman who had a frightening experience one morning. She woke up feeling fine, but after engaging in self-pleasure, she suddenly fainted and had to be rushed to the hospital. What caused this? She had neglected to hydrate first thing in the morning. Her blood pressure dropped too much and her body couldn't handle the strain of the activity. After that incident, she started drinking a full glass of water before engaging in any intimate activity, and guess what? She felt a lot better and avoided further health scares. This simple change, hydrating before you engage in self-pleasure, can make all the difference. A glass of water before you get started helps stabilize your blood pressure and ensures that your brain has enough oxygenated blood to support physical exertion. It's a small but powerful step that can prevent dizziness, fainting, and other dangerous complications. Here's why it works. When you wake up in the morning, especially after hours of sleep, your body is mildly dehydrated. This is completely normal, but it means your blood can become thicker and circulation can slow down. When you then engage in physical activity like self-pleasure, your heart rate increases and the demand for blood flow to your brain spikes. If you're already dehydrated, it makes this process harder for your body to manage, and you might feel faint or even pass out. So what's the solution? Start your day by drinking a full glass of water, ideally 15 to 30 minutes before any physical activity. It's a quick habit to incorporate into your morning routine, and it helps set you up for a healthier, safer experience. You don't need to drink a whole gallon, but just enough to help rehydrate your body and get your circulation moving before you engage in anything physical. It's such a simple yet powerful step, but it can be the difference between a smooth, enjoyable experience and one that could land you in the emergency room. Hydration helps support your cardiovascular system. It improves circulation to your brain, and it keeps your blood pressure stable. Plus, staying hydrated can have a number of other health benefits, like boosting energy levels and improving your overall mood. If you find yourself often feeling dizzy or lightheaded, especially in the morning, try incorporating this simple habit into your routine. A glass of water before you engage in self-pleasure can go a long way in keeping you safe, comfortable, and healthy. Let's move on to another important topic: sitting or lying down for long periods of time. As many of us know, prolonged inactivity can cause blood to pool in our legs, leading to something called blood clots. And here's the real danger. When you engage in sexual activity after sitting or lying down for a while, the physical exertion can actually cause those clots to move, which can lead to serious complications like pulmonary embolism, a blockage in the lungs, or even a stroke. It might sound scary, but it's something we need to be aware of, especially as we get older. When we sit or lie for a long time, our circulation slows down. This is normal. But the longer we stay inactive, the greater the chance that blood will start to pool in the lower half of our bodies, particularly in our legs. And if a clot forms in your veins, it can travel to the lungs or brain, causing life-threatening conditions. Let me share a real-life story to help you understand just how dangerous this can be. Meet Thao, a 66-year-old woman who had an experience that she will never forget. Thao had been sitting at her desk for several hours, working on her computer, and then decided to engage in self-pleasure. Unfortunately, because she had been sitting still for so long, she unknowingly triggered a blood clot that had formed in her leg. That clot traveled to her lungs and caused a pulmonary embolism, which landed her in the hospital. It was a scary, life-threatening situation, and she learned the hard way that sitting for long periods of time before engaging in physical activity can be dangerous. Now, here's the positive part of the story. After Thao's hospital stay and her recovery, she made one simple change to her routine. Before engaging in any kind of physical activity, including self-pleasure, she made sure to stand up, walk around, and get her circulation moving. By taking just a few minutes to stretch her legs and get her blood flowing, she significantly reduced the risk of blood clots moving through her body. And since then, she hasn't experienced any issues with blood clots again. So what's the lesson here? It's simple. If you've been sitting or lying for an extended period, always make sure to get up and move around before engaging in self-pleasure. Stand up, walk around, stretch, and gently stimulate your circulation. Even a short walk around the house or a few minutes of stretching can help get the blood flowing properly and reduce the risk of clots moving to dangerous places. This doesn't just apply to self-pleasure. It applies to any physical activity after sitting or lying down for a long time. If you've been inactive for a while, your body needs to adjust and start circulating blood properly before you engage in any kind of exertion. It's also a good idea to take breaks if you've been sitting for long periods, whether you're working at your desk, watching TV, or simply relaxing. Take a few minutes every hour to stand, walk, and stretch your legs. It's a small change that can have a big impact on your health and well-being. In conclusion, always listen to your body, especially after long periods of sitting or lying down. Getting up and moving around can protect you from serious risks like blood clots and make sure your experience is as safe as it is enjoyable. A little movement goes a long way in keeping your body healthy and prepared for physical activity. Finally, let's talk about something that's just as important for your emotional well-being as it is for your physical health: your mood. If you're feeling sad, lonely, or stressed out, engaging in self-pleasure might seem like an easy way to cope or escape those feelings. But here's the truth: it can actually make things worse. Using self-pleasure to distract from emotional pain can increase feelings of loneliness, depression, or anxiety, rather than providing the comfort you might be hoping for. When you're feeling emotionally low, whether it's because of grief, stress, or just a tough day, it's not uncommon to turn to self-pleasure as a way to feel better. But when you're in a negative emotional state, the temporary pleasure you experience can quickly give way to deeper feelings of isolation or sadness. The emotional benefits of self-pleasure are short-lived, and the underlying feelings of loneliness or sadness can be magnified, leaving you feeling even more disconnected from yourself and others. Let me share a story to illustrate this. Meet Lan, a 69-year-old woman who had been struggling with feelings of sadness and loneliness after the loss of her partner. One evening, when she was feeling particularly down, she decided to engage in self-pleasure in an attempt to cheer herself up. Unfortunately, rather than lifting her mood, it only made her feel more isolated and depressed afterward. She felt like she was turning to it as a way to numb her emotions, but it didn't address the root cause of her sadness. But here's the good news: Lan didn't stay in that place. She eventually decided to reach out for support. She joined a support group where she could share her feelings and connect with others who were going through similar struggles. And guess what? As she began to open up and express her emotions, she started to feel better. She found that talking about her feelings with others, whether friends, family, or a professional, helped her feel more understood and connected. Over time, she felt happier, more at peace, and less isolated. So what's the lesson here? When you're feeling down or overwhelmed by your emotions, self-pleasure isn't a long-term solution, it's a temporary distraction. What you really need is connection. If you're feeling lonely, sad, or anxious, reaching out to friends, family, or a therapist can make a world of difference. Sharing your feelings with someone who cares or seeking professional help can help you process your emotions in a healthier, more meaningful way. Sometimes we turn to self-pleasure because it feels like an easy fix for emotional discomfort. But the truth is, real healing comes from facing your emotions and finding healthy ways to cope. Instead of using self-pleasure as an emotional band-aid, take the time to check in with yourself. Ask, am I feeling this way because I need emotional connection? If the answer is yes, don't hesitate to reach out for support. You deserve to feel heard and understood, and there are people out there who can help. Remember, it's okay to seek help and express your feelings. Talking to someone, whether it's a loved one, a therapist, or a support group, can provide the emotional support you need to feel better. And while self-pleasure can be a healthy part of your life, it should never be your only way of coping with emotional struggles. You are not alone, and it's okay to lean on others for support. In conclusion, when you're feeling down, don't just turn to self-pleasure as a quick fix. Instead, focus on getting the emotional support you need. Whether it's through family, friends, or a professional, reaching out and connecting with others can help you heal and feel better in a much more lasting, meaningful way. To protect your health, it's important to know when your body is ready for these activities. The ideal time for self-pleasure is between 10:00 a.m. and 2:00 p.m., when your blood pressure is stable and your body is in the best state for physical activity. This window gives your body time to adjust and ensures that your heart and circulatory system are ready for the increased physical exertion. Always make sure to drink enough water before engaging in any physical activity, especially in the morning after you wake up. Hydration is key to maintaining your blood pressure and circulation. A full glass of water before you start your day can make a significant difference in how you feel during physical activities, including self-pleasure. And if you've been sitting or lying down for a while, make sure to move around gently before engaging in any activity. Stretching or walking around for a few minutes helps stimulate your circulation and gets your body ready for the physical demands. It's a small step, but it can help prevent dizziness or discomfort and ensure a safer, more enjoyable experience. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more women's health tips. Share this video with your friends or family so that everyone can learn how to protect their health as they age. Remember, taking care of your sexual health and personal comfort knows no age, but what's important is doing it wisely and safely. Thank you for watching this video. Always listen to your body and take the best care.